Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sarin Labaso. My ID number A12120184184. I'm from class K. Here I will explain material about component of language, component of speaking, and speaking devices. Okay, first I will explain about the language component. What is language component? The component of language is a system or way of conveying an idea or information both orally and also this component language works as a communication tool. So the language component consists of six forms. Number one, phoneme. Phonemes are the smallest part of language and have no meaning that we are familiar with letters, the alphabet. Number two, morpheme. Morpheme is the basic words for morpheme affixes, including free morpheme, which means free, independent morpheme, and bond morpheme, which means supporting and cannot stand alone. Number three, words. Word is a part of language that has meaning and class of words. There are 8 classes of words in English, namely noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, interjection, and conjunction. Number 4, phrases. Phrases is a series of meaningful words that do not have a subject plus predicate pattern, but have a head plus modified pattern, but vice versa. Number 5, clause. Clause is a series of meaningful words with a subject plus verb or predicate that forms a sentence or part of a sentence and doesn't end with a punctual mark. Clause consists of two words frames, namely the main clause and the subclause. Number 6, sentence. A sentence is a series of words with an SPO or subject, predicate, and object. In English, and ends with punctual marks such as punctual marks, periods, and exclamation points. The second component of speaking. Here there are 5 components of speaking so that speaking is better. Number 1, pronunciation. Pronunciation is the way for students to produce clearer language when they are speaking. It means that the student can communicate effectively when they have good pronunciation and intonation, even though they have limited vocabulary and grammar. Pronunciation refers to the traditional or customary utterance of words. From the statement can be concluded that pronunciation is the way for students to produce the utterance word clearly when they are speaking. English pronunciation doesn't amount to mystery of a list of sound or isolated words. Instead, it amounts to learning and practicing them specifically. English way of making a speaker talks easy to follow. Moreover, pronunciation includes all those aspects of speech which make for an easily intelligible flow of speech, including segmental, articulation, rhythm, intonation, and phrasing, and more peripherally even gesture, body language, and eye contact based. Number 2, grammar. Grammar is needed for the student to arrange correct sentence in conversation both in written and oral forms. Grammar is defined as a systematic way of accounting for and predicting an ideal speaker's or her knowledge of the language. This is done by a set of rules or principles that can be used to generate all well-formed or grammatical utterance in the language. Moreover, the other definition of grammar stated by Greenbaum and Nelson argue that grammar refers to the set of rules that allow use to combine words in our language into larger units. The grammar of language is the description of the ways in which words can change their forms and can be combined into sentences in the language. From the statement above can be concluded that the function of grammar is to arrange the correct meaning of sentence based on the context. In addition, it is used to avoid misunderstanding in each communication. Moreover, Nelson states that grammar is the study of how words combine to form sentences. Grammar refers to the fundamental principle and structure of the language, including clear and correct sentence construction and the proper forms of word. Number 3, vocabulary. Vocabulary is essential for successful second language use because without an extensive vocabulary, we will be unable to use the structure and function we may have learned for comprehensible communicative. It can be said that one key to success in communicative, which is the power of words. Vocabulary means the appropriate diction or the most important thing in the language, especially in speaking. Furthermore, now knowing many vocabularies, we will be easier to express our ideas, feeling, and thoughts both in oral or written form. In spoken language, the vocabulary tends to be familiar and everyday. It means that in spoken language or speaking, the vocabulary used must be very familiar and it is used in everyday conversation in order to understand the spoken discourse. Vocabulary is a basic building block of language learning. Students need to know words, their meanings, how they are spelled, and how they are pronounced. When teaching vocabulary, the teachers have to make sure that they explain the meaning as well as the spelling and pronunciation. Vocabulary is the knowledge of meanings of words. What complicates the definition is the fact the words come in less two forms, oral and written. Number 4, fluency. Fluency is defined as the ability to speak communicatively, fluently, and accurately. Fluency usually refers to express oral language freely without interruption in teaching and learning process. If the teacher wants to check students' fluency, the teacher allows students to express themselves freely without interruption. The aim is to help students speak fluently and with ease. The teacher doesn't correct immediately, with the idea being that too much correction interferes with the flow of conversation. Number 5, comprehension. Comprehension is an ability to perceive and process structure or discourse, to formulate the meaning of sentence. Comprehension of a second language is more difficult to study since it is not directly observable and must be inferred from over verbal and nonverbal. Comprehension refers to the fact that participants fully understand the nature of the research project even when products are complicated and interpret.